On Chicago's North Shore, a contentious primary. A seasoned politician battles a state lawmaker for a rarely open seat in Congress. Could a crowded field and a dark money super PAC play spoiler? Tonight, we get to the point.
From Chicago's very own, with WGN political editor Taman Bradley, this is The Point.
Good evening. Let's dive right in. It's one of the most contentious local contests this season. To Illinois 9 we go. The 9th District stretches from Chicago's north side, up along the North Shore, all the way west out to Cary and Algonquin. Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky's retirement after 14 terms paved the way for this super competitive Democratic primary. It's a safe blue seat, so several candidates are asserting their progressive bona fides.
People right now really want somebody who's got a reputation of standing up to the bullies, being able to stand up to the insurance industry and win, corporate polluters and win, somebody who's 100% pro-choice.
I'm so proud of the progressive record that I've managed to accomplish, both in Springfield and as mayor of Evanston. Think about it, the last 4.5 years as mayor, we've implemented municipal reparations, first and only of its kind in the country, passed the strongest climate ordinance of any municipality in the Midwest by far, done path-breaking work on housing, affordability, addressing homelessness, public safety reform.
In the packed field, a top tier has emerged based on fundraising and polling. Two of the frontrunners are State Senator Laura Fine and Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss, and they're going at each other hard.
I would say I'm a doer and he's a talker.
Laura Fine has more money from Donald Trump donors than from this district last quarter.
Fine and Biss are both Jewish, and divisions among Democrats over U.S. support for Israel is in the spotlight. A dark money super PAC called Elect Chicago Women is spending big in support of Fine. The group is reportedly backed by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, known as AIPAC. Some of AIPAC's top backers have been major donors to Donald Trump.
I'm proud to have support locally from people who share the values of our community. And my principal opponents have most of their money from out of state. Laura Fine has more money from Donald Trump donors than from this district. And that makes you wonder who she's going to answer to.
I have a handful of donors that are bipartisan, and I think it's about 3% of all my donations come from those bipartisan voters or donors. And what I will say is anybody who is donating to my campaign is donating to somebody who's for Medicare for all, who's stood up to corporate polluters, who stood up to the insurance industry.
Biss and Fine are sparring over more than just donors. Biss supports legislation to block the president from selling or exporting the most destructive offensive weapons systems to Israel.
And what we have learned for years is that the U.S. is not going to effectuate the outcomes that are consistent with U.S. policy and international law if we just politely ask for something different. We have to use the tools at our disposal, the economic power, the diplomatic techniques to push for change. Of course, Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish democratic state and to defend itself. This is important to me. I have a lot of extended family in Israel. My mother grew up there. I spent summers there as a child. And equally important is the right of Palestinians to self-determination and dignity, for the right of two states for two peoples side by side.
I am for a two-state solution. I think what the U.S. needs to do right now is step up to make sure we're bringing in humanitarian aid.
Well, the veteran lawmakers duke it out.
I love comics, so we wanted to...
Is this you?
That.
Oh,
yeah,
that
that's
is
me.
you.
We
Yeah.
had...
A Gen Z progressive influencer is using new media to raise millions.
It's not that young people don't vote. I think we don't give them anything to vote for. And our political establishment has kind of thought of people who aren't likely primary voters as worth reaching out to in the first place. So we not only want to reach out to all primary voters, but we make sure we're in their spaces as well.
Kat Abu-Ghazaleh has at times thumbed her nose at old school journalists. She sent a spokesperson to a candidate meeting with the Chicago Tribune editorial board.
Yeah, so this is our campaign office.
Her message is change.
I believe that everyone deserves to afford housing, groceries, and health care with money left over to save and spend. I believe that everyone deserves equal rights. And I believe that everyone deserves a better future that isn't defined by Trump's secret police. I am the candidate in this race that has been consistently standing on the front lines and putting my body on the line against this administration.
Several more candidates are trying to stand out in the crowded contest. State Senator Mike Simmons is on the attack.
As someone who grew up here, I don't like those donors drowning out voices like mine and the voices of communities in the 9th District, like immigrants, like those that have been targeted by ICE, like those that are feeling the pinch of affordability by donors who put ICE on our streets.
State Representative Han Wen is also giving up his seat in Springfield to compete. His confrontation with federal agents in Chicago last October made headlines.
The U.S. Customs and Border Patrol.
I'm State Representative Han
There's 3 agents behind us.
They put a loaded gun to the face of an elected official.
Wen has raised a significant amount of cash, but hasn't been able to break into the top 5 in recent polls.
If you don't find people running for Congress that have non-political backgrounds.
And Phil Andrew, a former FBI agent who worked as a hostage negotiator, hopes to offer voters something different.
My wife and I, as we looked at this field forming, we were disappointed because we saw politics as usual. We saw what has been all the worst things about Illinois politics stepping into this critical moment when we need real leadership.
Up next, we're headed to Evanston to go inside a reporter's notebook. We're back in 60 seconds.